I ask you people to continue praying for me and for him, of course. He doesn't know that I'll be bishop. Thank you.
So we all want to be bishops. We don't want to be priests.
Nonsense.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye. Good morning, brothers and sisters, wherever you are. I welcome you to this session where we meet people and journey in their life. As I always tell you, life is a school. Life is like a university where we enter to learn different things. Today, I take you directly from Kenya to Zambia, where we meet a young man, a young Spiritan soul, a young passionate man, a man I met in novitiate in Tanzania, a man I have been journeying with today. And today, as I take you through this life, I just want to give him a chance to introduce himself and tell us more about his life. Welcome to this session, Gabriel Chilando, and introduce yourself to these guys.
Thank you very much, and thank you to those brothers and sisters who are watching us this morning. My name is Gabriel Chilando from the northern part of Zambia, specifically Kasama. It's called Kasama Archdiocese. That's where I come from, St. Francis Parish. It's in Seruka. My family members, normally most of them are in the northern part of Zambia, though others are in other parts like Lusaka, very few in Livingstone, then others in the Kota Belt, still in the northern part of Zambia. Yes, I was born there on the 12th of December in 1989. That's in the southern part. I grew up there. When I was a boy, I was moved to Lusaka for a short time with my aunt. Then I went to school there, and partly in Lusaka, and then the other part in the northern part of Zambia. Then I went back to Lusaka, and then central part. That's where I completed my education. Then I settled among the Tonga people for a few times. That's why I can speak a bit of Tonga. And then the other part of my life, I also spent with the Nyanjas or the Chewas. So I can also speak their language, the Lozis, and of course the Tokareas in the southern part, deep in the southern part near the border with Zimbabwe. They use the language which is near to Tonga, which is Tokarea. Tokarea, yes.
So, you have heard, it's called Gabriel Chilando. If you like it, Gabriel. You didn't mention that name, I know.
By the way, as he has rightly put it, I was given many names that those were just officially, I'm called Gabriel Chilando. However, I'm Brian Chilando Mulenga Chongo. The members use Mulenga Chongo, and then, of course, the official name is Brian Gabriel Chilando.
Okay, Mr. Chilando, you are becoming fully a spiritual member in this life, in religious life.
Yes.
And many people do not know Spiritans are in Zambia. But Spiritans are all over the world. Spiritans are all over Africa.
Yes.
Spiritans are in 5 continents. And in these 5 continents, we are in so many countries. It is spread all over the world. May you please just narrate to us briefly the history of Spiritans in Zambia, if you at least know something about Spiritans in Zambia. Just briefly.
All right, thank you. Spiritans, the first Spiritans to arrive, by the way, it is important to make mention that Spiritans this year will be celebrating 50 years of presence. So the first Spiritans landed on Zambian soils back in 1971. There were 6 Irish Spiritans who landed on Zambian soils on 3rd February 1971. And the most prominent one is Michael Walsh, who is still in Zambia. So they came from Nigeria. It was as a result of the war which was in Biafra War. Yes, Biafra War. So when they came, the 6 of them came. And then in 1972, they were joined by another group of Spiritans, also from the Irish province. They were welcomed in Lusaka by then the Bishop of Monze, who was called James Cowboy. And then from there, when they arrived in Lusaka, they saw that the place was not suitable for them, so they decided to move to the southern part of Zambia, which is called Livingstone, in Livingstone Diocese, which that part is mostly occupied occupied mostly by the Capuchin missionaries. So when they arrived there, they started working in the parishes. The most known ones in Makunka and Linda Parish, Maria Regina Parish. So when in 1980, most Irish Spiritans, the number of Irish Spiritans started going down. And then in the same year, 1980, another group of Spiritans, they did not belong to the Zambia Spiritan group. They went to northwestern Zambia in a diocese called Solwezi. So when they started working there, they're not part of the Zambia Spiritan group, they're just independent from Nigeria. So as they were working in 2 parishes. It's also important to make mention that before 1976, we received, that is 1976 to between 1976 and 1980, we received the first conflict from then East African Foundation, and then later it was joined, of course, by others. And then from that time, it has been Zambia Spiritan group mostly has been occupied by confreres from East African provinces and the Nigerian province, with only one senior confrere, who is Michael Walsh from the Irish province. Of course, that is the majority. There are other confreres who have worked in Zambia, like from the Congo Brazzaville and other countries, of course.
Okay, that is now the Zambia we know, yes, which is found in southern part of Africa.
Southern part of Africa.
So how did you enter or join this congregation? How did you know the Spiritans?
Thank you. When I was in boarding school, I was in vocation. By the way, Spiritans are not in my diocese in the northern part of Zambia. They are mostly in the southern part of Zambia and Lusaka. So what made me to know about Spiritans, when I was in school, I was in a vocations club. So that club, most of the times were visited by priests, vocation promoters, vocation directors from different dioceses. So it so happened that one of the days, the vocations director, the vocations promoter of Zambian National Group, then Father Yunya Mutinta, was part of a team that was moving around schools to promote vocation. So I just got the brochure, so there were contacts. So when I went back home in Kasama, and then we started communicating like that, and then I applied. I was called for Come and See. That is 2011, 2012. I was called for Come and See, and then 2012, I think, I remember 2012, in October, I started my journey of posters. That is before I joined, I continued chatting with him, calling him, he was sending me letters, books, sending me emails to read more about the congregation of the Spiritans.
Okay, if I may just ask, somebody may ask you someday, or may ask me someday,
Yes.
what influenced you to join the religious life or priesthood?
First of all, yes, seriously speaking, the thing of becoming a priest was not in me when I was in school. The thing I wanted to do was to become a lawyer or a medical doctor. So it was in this vocations club that, even when I got the number, it was just talking. My father trying to convince me to join this life, but it was kind of just to try when I got the number and everything. Because when I got the number, we were communicating with Father Yunia, sending me, I was reading, but that interest was not that. But after I finished school, in fact, before I finished school, I came across this particular document that Father Yunia sent me. It was about the charism of the Spiritans, working among the poor, going to the most abandoned, where the local church find it difficult to find workers. And so when I read that, and mostly when I'm home during holidays, I liked working among the old, the sick, the poor, those society considers to be, nobodies, those that are considered to be less privileged in societies. Those are the ones I enjoyed working with. I remember my mother, if she gives me some money, I see a woman who has nothing, instead of using that money for other things, or I just collect it, I try to buy a few things for that person, then give that person. And so that thing entered me to say maybe I need to join a certain religious group that can make this vocation in me, to grow in serving her. So from that is after I finished school, it started growing, developing. That's how I took time to discover more about it, wrote an application to the Spiritans. Then that's how everything started from there.
Okay, so you say what inspired this is that charism
Yes.
of serving the most neglected ones, the most abandoned
Yes.
areas of this world.
Yes.
That is very wonderful. Can you take us through your vocational journey from Postulanzi to where you are at this moment?
Okay. Well, when I finished school, of course, as I said, that love to serve the poor was growing. I applied, I was accepted. I started in October. Started Postulancy, that is done in the southern part of Zambia. So as I was in Postulancy, we were supposed to be 4. Unfortunately, only 2 of us reported. So I was with another guy, another brother called Marvin Nsonda. He's also from the northern part of Zambia, but he grew up in Livingstone, the southern part of Zambia. So we started there, 2012. We finished, and then after 1 year, I was recommended to go and study philosophy in Malawi, in a place called Baraka. And then we graduated with a diploma in religious studies, and then with a degree in philosophical studies. The institute is affiliated to the Catholic University of Malawi. So after we graduated, I was sent shortly, I was given a short break, then I was sent to Magamba, Tanzania, where our home was transition, yeah? Where we became men, we became Spiritans. So I was sent there I think it was 2017, yes. Then after novitiate, I went to Zambia for pastoral. I don't know if I was lucky or I was unlucky. I stayed there for 3 years. I pastoral for 3 years.
3 years?
Yes. 3 years. I don't know if I was lucky.
In Zambia?
In Zambia.
In your own country, you did it for 3 years.
3 years.
Instead of 1 year.
Yes, instead of just 1 year. I did it for 3 years. I moved in 3 different parishes where they speak 3 different languages. In fact, there is one that speaks more than 3 languages. So you can imagine I learned Tonga, I learned Lozi, I learned Tokalea. So vocabulary wise, probably I might benefit, though it is just the local. So after that 3 years, I was sent to Kenya. I came to Kenya, Tangaza, started my theological studies. After there, we finished the first year of my academic year at Tangaza. Then during the long break, I was asked to come here in Kitty for this, long break to help continue with my pastor.
Okay, guys, as we talk now, we are in Kenya. We are not in Zambia.
Yes.
It's from Zambia, but we are talking from Kenya, in a county called Nakuru County, and the parish is called St. Francis of Assisi Parish, Nakuru, Kitty Village. It is just in the city. So I can say this vocation, because keeping a person for 3 years in his own country, where he doesn't need to learn another language, where he's not learning Chinese, he's not learning any other difficult language, he's just speaking the same language he knows. He can use English, he can use his mother tongue, but keeping for 3 years, I can just say this guy can persevere life. He knows what he wants. He knows where he's going, and he knew why he came to this congregation. 3 years for me, it is too long. 3 years in Kenya is too long. 3 years in my own country, it is too long. I can't bear. But he bear, and he is here with us today talking about his vocation. So, Chilando,
yes.
I just want you to... So, you have talked of 3 years for pastoral, and normally to say that 2 years or 1 year. 1 year in your own region, and if it is 2 years, you are outside, maybe learning a language and learning the culture and other things. But in Zambia, you are in the same culture, almost the same language, but you did 3 years.
Yes.
Can you tell us how was it and what was the problem? Because there is a time we were in the same group after novitiate.
Yes.
Then we had ceased, you are going to Nigeria. Then people said our side is dead. Then after Nigerian rumors of Nigeria, we heard it is Nairobi. Then after some time, Chilando is nowhere to be seen. Left the group, and nobody is communicating to him. We don't know where he is, and we don't know what it is. What was the problem, or how was it?
And, when something, that there are certain things that you cannot, even after you go through, you look back and say, what went wrong? You could, you cannot explain it. The thing is, when I finished my first year pastoral, I was supposed to come for theology here in Nairobi, but I was told, no, you cannot go to Nairobi yourself, you wait, you have a special place you are going. That year finished. So when I was told, no, 2 years you cannot go to, in fact I was told probably you will go to another country where they speak another language. Then I was told, no, you cannot go there since you already finished 2 years. So you just go to Ireland. Then I was told, Ireland again, Corona, that's where Corona now. In fact, it was before that. Before Corona came in, it was said that you are going to go to Ireland. Now Ireland, that year, they were supposed to open, they didn't open. They opened the following year. So that same year I was supposed to go now to Ireland. That's how Corona now came in. When Corona came in, the only option was to come to Nairobi. That's how I was sent to Nairobi. So now this whole period of 3 years, you can imagine if at all there was a problem. I remember there was a time that my vows expired, and then I was allowed to renew. That's how I knew that if there was something big or there was a case, I wouldn't have been allowed to renew. Because in fact I was asked to renew because, I said maybe I tried to do other things. But when I sat down with superior, said, no, you have no problem, ourselves have no problem with you. So even when I was applying, it never even took anything any long, whatever. It was just accepted to renew my vows, and then that's how I renewed my vows. So that's how I discovered that I don't know what was going on with his council, or it was the superior's problem. So myself, I was just there.
Okay, can you talk about your happy moments and maybe the sad moments in this life, in your life?
Let me say, there may be sad moments. I can say the challenging moments probably was this, this period of 3 years that I stayed, waiting to go to theology. I cannot say it's a sad moment, but it's a challenging moment where, challenging in such a way that you wake up, at times you don't know what is happening to you. You ask yourself, it was also a good moment in such a way that it took me back to start reflecting from my posters up to now, to say maybe there was something they discovered that they are trying to work on, but I tried to, what really went wrong? Did I do anything? No, it was a moment where I interviewed all counselors, from the superior to the last counselor. So maybe they're hiding something, they're just waiting for my vows to expire, and then they say, you cannot continue. That is the challenging moment. I could say challenging, but not kind of sad. Then my happiest moment, probably, or one of the happiest moments in my life as a Spiritan, would be the first day, I became a Spiritan. I felt that joy, to say, now I can live my, what I like, and probably this, through the Spiritan charism, as I said, what motivated me most to be at the service of others, more especially the less privileged in society.
Okay, you fear mentioning Christopher as your father in novitiate, but there's no problem. For me, I also don't fear mentioning Timothy as my formator in postulants.
Okay.
Because he's the one who introduced me to this life.
By the way,
I introduced you in novitiate, and I took care of you as well. And that is it. You fear mentioning. I won't ask for payment. So we are reaching at a point, and people are following. People will be following, and will be listening to your story.
Yes.
And especially the young men who feel like they are also called to this life.
Yes.
What can you tell them, these young men who are listening outside there? What can you just tell them as well?
Yes, the first thing I can tell them is, much like those who are in school, the first thing is concentrate on your school. You do well in school, because the Spiritans, we don't look for, there is generally in vocation to this life, there is that element of saying maybe those who go to this life, they take those who don't do well in school. You can testify that the Spiritans, we have, a limit. There is that cut-off point where we need the cream. So the first thing is, you do well in school. After you do well, as you are in school, pray, discern. You see if this is your life, and read more about vocation to religious and priest life in general, because there are certain things that you ought to know. Like, there are certain questions that people may ask, or ask me to say, do you have a salary? Do you get paid? All those things. As a young person trying to join this life, those are the things that you should know, to say, in this life, that's why it's called a vocation. When you follow this life, you ought to know that there is no payment, there is no salary. It's a life of, sacrifice. you sacrifice that you want to serve God in this particular way of life. And it is important that you know that since I'm a Spiritan, I will not take it for granted that whoever wants to join this life has to become a Spiritan. It is important to lead the core of any congregation or diocese. Like, if you want to become a Spiritan, are you ready to be at the service of the less privileged in society? Are you ready to go to those areas where the local church finds it difficult to find workers? So when you know the charism of the congregations, it will be very easy for you to choose to say, I think I can serve God as a Spiritan, as a Jesuit, as Saint Franciscan, or as a Saint Patrick, a Cutigan. So what I can tell them in short, study hard in school and discern more about your vocation. Pray to God to guide you and know more about these congregations.
Okay, guys, there are people who doubt who doubt if I finish school. So Spiritans go to school, my friends. They study well, they pass exams. Spiritans is not a congregation of fools. People study. We also have doctors. You'll be meeting them soon in this channel. There are doctors behind the camera there. They are just watching us. So, Chilando, your last word.
My last word could be for you and for the viewers. I think I'll just thank God for this platform and for you for your initiative of coming up with this platform, because we are encouraged by the lives of one another. Your journey may be an encouragement to another person. My journey can be an encouragement to another person. Someone's journey in life can be an encouragement to another person. So all in all, we are called to be a blessing to the people we meet out there and not a curse. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, he's paying me for giving me this chance to talk to this channel. So after this, you give me something. Thank you very much for talking to us. And we just pray to God that He may lead you through this journey to the altar or to His vineyard. Another day we meet and we talk when you are a priest maybe, or a deacon, and when I'm a bishop. We meet there.
By the way, I pray, I ask you people to continue praying for me and for him, of course. He doesn't know that I'll be his bishop. Thank you.
So we all want to be bishops. No one wants to be a priest.
Nonsense.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye. We meet another time.
Give me my money.
So 3 years.
Give me my money.
No, wait.
You cannot intervene.
No.
Give me my money.
I will pay you. There is no problem. I will give you some. But 3 years in
Zambia, my friend. 3 years.
Zambia, 3 years for pastoral.
Yes.
And there is no problem.
Let's go and take it.
Okay.